This is a Star Wars Action News Hypercast.
Hey everybody, Andrew here, and this year is a very special year. We've got the anniversary of The Phantom Menace coming out, and of course, the anniversary of Star Wars Lego getting released. Now, as you may know, I tend to be known as an addict of Hot Toys here at Star Wars Action News, but I am also kind of addicted to Lego. I have been since I was a little kid. So when they announced that Lego was going to have a Star Wars line, I couldn't have been more excited. So Lego has provided us with a nice little map of the history of Lego with some fun facts. So I thought that it'd be a good time to go through that and kind of reminisce about some of my memories about collecting Lego. So let's go ahead and we'll dive right in. Alright, so they signed the agreement in 1998. I remember seeing the announcement in the Star Wars Insider. Super excited about that. And of course then it launched the following year. And I've told the story before about how I hounded Toys R Us, called them over and over again until they finally had them in stock. Man. Yeah, Jar Jar Binks with that special head, that was something else I'd never seen before. Everything else before that was just that round head with the hairpiece or the hat. 13 sets that first year. Of course, that's definitely grown since then. And of course, yeah, there they show the two sets that I never actually got. I still don't have those in my collection. The first TIE Interceptor with the first TIE Interceptor in the Ultimate Collector series. Of course, they also launched the TIE Fighter. Of course, they also launched the X-Wing that year as well in that same larger scale. I do have that one, but I never got that TIE Interceptor. I'm still looking to find a decent deal on that because they can be pretty expensive. And of course, also the Darth Maul bust, which I also didn't pick up at the time, mainly because those two sets they were pretty expensive back in the day, and I was still in college at the time, so I didn't quite have the funds yet to fully support my Lego Star Wars habit. Oh yeah, and then of course the single color Ewok, that's fun. It's solid brown. And the short legs, yeah, looking back, the Phantom Menace sets came with a Anakin Skywalker figure, but he was just the same size as Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. Yeah, in 2002 they launched the mini sets. Those, I really loved those. They came in a 2-pack, and then they always came with extra pieces that you could use to build an extra set, but you had to collect them all in order to build that extra ship. Motorized Power Walker AT-AT. That one was fun. You could actually make it walk. And of course the Behemoth, the Millennium Falcon. At the time, the Ultimate Collector Series was in full swing, but this was the Ultimate Collector Series, 2007. Seems like it was just yesterday. That thing was huge and massive. And of course, they followed it up with the Super Star Destroyer. A few years later, I remember my wife and I got that one. We put it all together, and then we set it on the floor. My wife laid down next to it, and it was almost as tall as she was. Of course, Lego always liking to break the records. They've got the world's largest Lego model that they built in 2013, and there was a cool set that they actually released at that time for people at that event. It was a little New York street scene with Yoda on it, and the evolution of the mini sets turning into the micro fighters. Those I really like those. They're cute, they're chunky, they're fun. And of course the buildable character figures. Those are something that a lot of people weren't really sure about. And when I first saw them, I was kind of into them. I liked the style, and I still do to an extent. They can be a little repetitive if you build one human shaped figure they are pretty similar to the next human-shaped figure that you're going to buy, but they're still a lot of fun. Great posability, of course, with that Bionicle set style that they've got. And of course, 2017, just a couple years ago, that Ultimate Millennium Falcon that they did back in 2007, they re-released it, but they upped it. They made it even cooler and better with interior scenes, and you could have it displayed as either the Force Awakens set or the classic trilogy. And there were some things in there that I didn't really notice. The differences. Of course, there's the sensor dish, but there's also some little attachments on the front tongs that I didn't really realize was different either. So that was kind of a neat little detail that they added. And that brings us, of course, to 2019. We've got 5 special sets coming out this year that kind of commemorate the last 20 years of Lego collecting. And those I think are going to be really fun to have and look back. And they've got those special minifigures as well. And where are we heading now? Of course, episode 9. Hopefully we'll get some information of that coming up here at Star Wars Celebration in a couple days. So yeah, that's the last 20 years of Lego collecting. Lots of fun little tidbits in there. I really am hoping that we get some good reveals at Star Wars Celebration. But since we're talking about the 20 years of Lego, I went out and bought a couple of them. There's several different sets in this line. Like I said, there's 5 of them. There's bigger ones like the Slave One and smaller ones like the Imperial Dropship. But I went with these ones specifically because these are re-releases of sets that came out in that first year in 1999. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna dig through all my old Lego sets, and I'm gonna pull out those original sets, and I'm gonna build both. I'm gonna build the ones from 1999, and then I'm gonna build these from 2019 and compare them, and we'll see what we get. So I'm gonna go ahead and crack these open and see if I can find those original sets, and I'll see you in a few minutes. are. This was a really fun experience to have. Very nostalgic, brought back lots of memories of building these two sets right here. Anakin's Pod Racer, which of course came out first with all of the Midnight Madness that came with Episode 1. And one of the things that really struck me with these early sets is just how blocky they used to be. I know that sounds silly because we're talking about things that are essentially miniature blocks, but everything is very angular. There's not a whole lot of detail. Once you get to the newer updated sets, there's of course a lot more pieces, and there are a lot more smaller pieces, which allows them to have more detail. But these two were incredibly fun. I noticed subtle things like there's more stickers with these new ones. In fact, there aren't any stickers with these original sets. The detail that you see on these couple pieces here are printed on. They aren't stickers, whereas the ones that you see here and here on the newer sets are definitely stickers. I know there's some people that really don't like stickers on their Lego sets. I don't really mind them. Over time, they tend to peel or discolor, but I don't really mind putting them on. It's kind of fun. Reminds me of when I was a kid and liked putting stickers on all my play sets and vehicles and stuff. So I don't ever really have a problem with that. Of course, you've got things like, I remember when this one came out, I remarked to my friends about how cool it was that they made this to be sand color, so it looked like it was, flying through sand, and you wouldn't be able to see that because you could imagine the same brick color in the background. But of course, it doesn't really work unless you've actually got a diorama of Tatooine. But with the new set, you've got the transparent bricks, and it's nice that they've got it balanced so that you don't have anything sitting back here underneath the actual pod, which is kind of cool. With the Snowspeeder, it's much more, again, much more detailed. It also has things like the grappling hook, and both of them are just they're more modern, right? Like with the Snowspeeder, you've got the stud shooters, and you've got the missiles in the back, the spring-loaded missiles. So, not a whole lot that you wouldn't expect in a newer set, but they're definitely more detailed and definitely look a lot cooler than these old ones. But these old ones do kind of have a really cool retro vibe to them. Another thing that I remembered when putting these together, with the second wave that came out, they started doing something really cool. They couldn't do it with the Phantom Menace, which is to be expected, and you'll see why. But with the second wave, they included on each page a frame of the movie. So as you're putting the pieces together, you're actually able to watch the very top of each page that scene unfold, which is really kind of neat. Speaking of instructions, with the new sets, they all come with a cool little 20th anniversary intro. So talks about 20 years of Lego, and then it gives kind of a comparison between the two sets, which is convenient since that's what I'm kind of doing here. It talks about how there are more pieces, they're more complicated builds. There's some neat information like how the brakes here on the Pod Racer were specifically designed for the Pod Racer set, things like that. So kind of a cool little thing. Oh, and they also kind of harken back to showing parts of the scene in the beginning. They do talk about the actual scene that it's in, which is kind of fun. So those are the sets themselves. The minifigures are, of course, also updated. You've got the original that are all in the yellow skin tone, and then of course you've got the natural skin tone with the newer ones. And then of course you've got the retro figures, which can be linked together like that. So if you get all the sets, you can have them all lined up. They've got a nice little stand there with the 20th anniversary logo. And then you can't see it with Lando's because he's got a cape, But on the back, they do have the 20th anniversary logo on the back as well, which helps differentiate them from the actual originals. I was wondering how they would handle that, since they are, you know, minifigures and they come apart. They look identical on the outside, but there are some very subtle differences on the inside. For instance, I was able to find, luckily, where I had the original Cloud City set that has the original Lando. On the outside, it looks very identical, but there are some very, very, very subtle differences. There's copyright stamps on the new one that are different from what's on the original. It doesn't have the date or anything like that, but they are different. So just something to keep in mind. A little bit of difference there, which I really liked. Again, overall, this was a really fun experiment and a great walk down memory lane. I kind of want to get out my other sets from back in 1999 and put those together just to enjoy that that nostalgia. So I really want to thank LEGO for providing us with some of those fun facts we went over earlier, and for providing us with some really great sets to put together. These are great. The 20th anniversary sets are available now, so you can go out to the store and get them. Oh, and speaking of fun facts, I do have something else that I wanted to show you guys. Clear a little bit of space here. So, you know how all of the LEGO sets come with those extra pieces. You get it all done, and there's always a couple extra studs or a couple little one-by plates. Just, you know, a lot of the small stuff that you tend to lose, so they give you extra ones to make sure that you've got it in case you do lose them down the road. Well, I just want you to know that this is how many extra pieces you have after collecting Star Wars LEGO for 20 years. Now, there are also some pieces from the Indiana Jones sets in here. So this is all Lucasfilm extra sets that I've got in this bag and have been collecting for the last 20 years. So I just wanted to give you guys a visual, little visual fun fact to go along with the rest of the fun facts that LEGO provided. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Please check out some of our other videos, and you can hear hundreds of Star Wars collecting podcasts and see photo galleries at our site, swactionnews.com.